Chapter 8. Wondering how he had ever allowed himself to get dragged into this situation, Francis relinquished the idea of calling anyone. Prizing his fingers away from the receiver one at a time, he picked his coat up from the hook on the wall and followed Vasil into the corridor. Thankful that the door to the hall was still closed, Francis prayed that they would not be seen leaving. Hurriedly, they made their exit through the front door and headed towards Vasil's Mercedes. Casting a foreboding glare back towards the house, he was glad to see that the curtains were still closed, and hopefully everyone would be reaching such a stage of intoxication that they would barely notice his absence. Somewhere beneath his subconscious, he knew that he was lying to himself. When Melissa called, he would have to ask her to arrange someone to come to the house and explain that he had to rush away urgently. He didn't have time to think too much about the politics behind his actions that evening. He didn't much want to either. Approaching the car, Francis scooped handfuls of snow from the passenger side window. On hearing the clunk of the central locking, he wasted no time in clambering into the vehicle. Closing his door, Francis tried to make as little noise as possible so as not to alert anyone's attention. Vasil had finished ridding the windscreen of the excess snow and now took up his position next to Francis. "All right, let's go. But don't drive out through the front gate. Go round the back," whispered Francis. Nodding, Vasil turned the key in the ignition and the car slowly crunched its way through the fresh powder. The windscreen, still misty with ice and condensation, was quickly clearing as they rounded the side of the building and headed for the rear of the property. From the rear of the house, there's a track which leads us out onto another road. When we get halfway down the track, I want you to stop the car. When the car has stopped and you've turned off the lights, I want you to explain everything to me. I want to know what's going on, otherwise you're alone in this. "All right, okay, but we need to be far from here." "We will be, but I need to know what you know," Francis whispered. Trundling down the narrow track, which was deadly dark on all sides, the sound of pine needles pattered and tapped on the sides of the car. "This is far enough, Vasil. Stop the car and cut the lights." "I'm not very comfortable with this. We need to be away from here." "Why?" asked Francis. Sitting in almost total darkness, a brief silence fell within the Mercedes. The occasional sound of clumps of snow falling from the overbearing pine trees, the only sound audible apart from the heavy, adrenaline-fueled breathing within the car. "There's no one else I can trust with this, Francis," whispered a voice from the back seat. Slowly turning his head in the darkness to look at the source of the voice, Francis was sure that he must be going insane. Hearing a voice he had not heard for the best part of a decade. The voice of a man he knew to be dead. He could only manage to gasp the name. Vincent. Hi, my name's Antony Botting, and I'm the author of the Pebble in the Dark trilogy. If you'd like to hear more of this story, please subscribe to this channel and ring the bell below. See you next time.